Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Carolyn. I'm here with Todd Siegel, psychic investigator today, and we are in the historic Freemason area of Norfolk, Virginia, and we're going to be touring this area, and Todd's going to give us some insight about the kinds of things that he sees in the area.
Okay, so we're going to walk a couple of blocks down from here, and I was pointing out to the ladies here, if you look at some of the cobblestone on the streets here, and this is very old, I actually saw when I was walking down here sand completely covering the streets. So there was some kind of a storm or washout at one time where these streets were covered in sand. A significant year is 1849 for some reason here. I get a feeling on this street, actually right here, I don't know any of these buildings, but I'm getting a lot of money, banking, things that have to do with banks and money. I also feel that there was some kind of a printing press nearby here, so I'm getting printing most likely for a newspaper or something like that. And as I go through some of these, walkthroughs, I'm not going through just the old history time period, but I'm also going through the present. So if I feel disturbance or somebody passed away on this road, I'm going to get that as well. And we are going to go through the next part now. So we'll take a little pause, and just good at this.
Yeah,
okay.
and so while we're walking, I want you to put the music to
You
Hotel
want me to
California.
sit down on this fence?
Yeah. Listen, when we're walking, I want you to play the music to Hotel California.
Oh, really?
The beginning, yeah,
Okay.
the riffs in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
I think it's very creepy.
So I get a lot of different things as I'm walking, not just from the area, but from you too, and patients that you see, and I'm getting a patient with pancreatic problems. So excuse me if I just go through different things here. This area was there was a lot going on in the 1950s here as far as politics, and I'm getting a rights movement of some sort, and women's rights, funny enough, right in this area. Are we filming still? And look, believe me, when you go into old New England, where I lived, they really show the age, but here they look like all the bricks have been redone, but they kept the character of all the old buildings.
Mm-hmm. Since it's a historic district, they do have to get permission to make the changes that they make.
And this is definitely not the kind of road to be driving on if you have bladder issues, just so you know.
Or walking issues.
Keep a bra on.
I'm very intrigued by this building, and actually spent the night out here on the lawn in a sleeping bag once.
Really?
Yeah, just kind of camped out. I mean, I'm very intrigued with the...
Is there a cemetery there?
There's not, but there looks like there should be.
Well, I'm drawn to a cemetery area not far from here. So, yeah. And we're filming, right? Okay, cool. So, I am drawn to this building over here, but I'm looking at also this empty space. Yes, it does kind of look like a cemetery, but there's something about this area, and there's something about a little further down, I want to say down here, that has to do with fallen soldiers cemetery, people from Civil War. So there's definitely some Civil War stuff going on here too. A lot of war stuff.
walk down this way? Let's go here.
And where would you like to go from here? Or should I go where I'm drawn? Here, who was a captain. He lived in one of these buildings here. He was not American. I think he was British. So I'm getting British captain. I'm getting something with Portugal here. People from Portugal. I'm starting to get a lot of foreigners over in one of these houses that stayed here. They might have been workers, that kind of thing. And then I get other little things like I'm getting something having to do with firearms, either keeping firearms or making ammunition around here. So I'm getting ammo factories and munitions and definitely a lot of like manufacturing. I'm going into 1700s as far as manufacturing here. And there was a settlement somewhere across here that was Native American. So I'm going into an old Native American settlement across the river. And I'm just jumping from one phase to another really quickly, but also then I'm going to the 1960s here, and there was some civil rights stuff going on and some violence in this neighborhood. There's so much stuff that happened here. Now I'm jumping around again. I'm going older, and I'm getting a man named Bob, or his name was Robert, and I got Bob in this area here. I want to say like somewhere in the 1800s, I believe, by what he's wearing. Okay. Then there was also going like in the 1900s, there was a famous actor or somebody in this area as well, and I'm getting kind of blondish hair parted over to the side, and he was kind of famous from this area. So it's kind of weird too. I think he had something to do with music and acting and that kind of thing. So this is it's quite a place. Going to Revolution times, there's definitely some stuff here too. I'm getting that there were a lot of cannons out here by the river, so this was a very revolutionary involved place. But this is not this is not around 1776. This is before. I'm getting I'm getting 1783 as relevant to one war or something going on, but I'm also getting 1730s for some reason, 1738 possibly. So I got significant dates around here involved in the Revolution, and then I get some significant dates about manufacturing of military and guns and stuff here, and then the tie to money. A lot of ties to money here. Like this was almost like the Federal Reserve at one time. There is noted a lot of Black Americans in this area, and had something to do with the slave trade. And I do not mean the underground during the Civil War. This is before then. So there was something about slaves and moving and stuff like that here. And we'll walk a little bit more. Do you want to walk a little bit more, and we'll see what we find down there?
Okay.
The Sullivan during the federal occupation of Norfolk, 1860. It was seized and occupied as the headquarters of the federal commanders. In this last visit to Norfolk, General Robert Lee was the guest here, his friend. Okay, so it was 1807, and yeah, there was a lot in the Civil War going on here. The time before, the 1700s was that man Bob, I think. But this definitely the headquarters of the federal commanders, so that has a lot to do with guns and weaponry and trade. Okay. And hold on. So it didn't say it was built as a country residence of Dr. William. All right. Remember I was saying there was a captain or somebody, ship captain here? Somewhere.
So, Dr. William Selden was the Surgeon General for the Army during the Civil War.
Okay. I mean, we could also put that on there as a side note, and somebody. Do you want to read the plaque? And we were talking about this area, and I suddenly picked up on a lot of yellow fever that was happening here. So there was, and you said that was a little more towards that way, but I'm getting the outbreak of yellow fever was widespread here, and also the 1916 flu. So these cities were a very hard place, especially when fevers hit. And I definitely feel a hospital here, old hospital that was here, okay? And we're gonna walk on because we're right in the middle of cars, so I'll only cut it here.
Now, when I said that about the yellow fever, what I meant was a graveyard for the people with yellow fever.
Oh, okay, and that's that way?
Yeah.
Do you want to go that
It's
way?
about
A ways?
a half a mile. I think that we've got it. We can do that another day.
Is there something here we need to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the other Taiwan,
Oh.
as a part of a goodwill
Okay.
treaty, and that's all I'm going to tell you.
I'm sure we're going to get some F-16s coming through soon too.
Isn't this beautiful? I just love this area. So when you say
Later, just let me know. I'll have my chauffeur bring you over. Wow. It's like one massive sized boat. New York, Philadelphia, Norfolk Railway. Food broker, ship, docks for commercial passengers.
there's your commercial activities.
Yeah, it was a lot more rustic. A lot more rustic in the 1800s here, but what was kind of weird was I did see these like canals made, and I don't know if they were used to bring the lumber and some of the supplies down to areas, but I kept seeing these canals. And but this is a very historic area. This is well, we have this building here,
We're on the Cannonball Trail.
and you know, originally my psychic analysis was actually pointing towards Chinese takeout, but that's not exactly what this building is for here. It was my hunger, like, guiding me here. This was a gift, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so tell us.
So, this was a gift by the Taiwanian government
Uh-huh.
to Norfolk as a way to celebrate Asian American relationships and their
Okay.
culture.
Mm-hmm.
But it was built upon land where there was other industrial work that happened much sooner.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole area was so industrial, and the railroad part that they were talking about was very significant here. And I wanted to say it probably took almost 15 years, if not more, to get the railroad to where it was because of the marshy area here. This is pretty.
See, yeah, is the koi pond here?
It looks like it.
USS Wisconsin, also known as the USS Whiskey. It first launched in 1943 and was engaged in both World War II and the Korean War. After it went through a restoration period, it was recommissioned out to participate in the Desert Storm War in 1991. There are reports, there's a lot of paranormal activity that goes on this ship.
Okay.
They've done a lot of paranormal investigations. There have been a lot of sightings. I'm curious to see, what Todd might pick up as we move closer to the ship.
Okay, so one thing I'm picking up on this ship is passengers' recovery and hospitalization from a conflict that happened. This is more recent, I believe, more recent years. So I'm getting a rescue mission, so not used in battle, but used to rescue, house, and bring people back. That's one thing that I'm getting. I am getting some sickness on the ship as well. So every time I go back and forth on this ship, it feels like there's either some sickness or hospitalization going on here. And then I'm also getting passengers. Funny enough, I'm getting like Somalia. I'm getting like rescue efforts to take passengers, civilians. So there were a lot of uses for this ship. Going all the way back to 1943, there was real bad damage to this ship, I believe, by torpedoes in the 1940s. So it definitely suffered damage, and they had to repair it. I could definitely see how it's haunted. There were a lot of people who passed away on the ship, actually. And then I'm getting little remnants of SEAL teams and stuff coming from this ship. So a lot of SEAL team activity on this ship. But this boat was towed at one time. There was some damage on it. I hear starboard, something. So we can always check the record, see if there was some damage that happened to this. definitely not an aircraft carrier, so it wasn't one of those that was targeted because of the aircraft. That was often the case back then. But this was definitely a gunner ship. Any history you want to report on this?
I don't
As a
have any
background?
any
You
further
don't have
history.
any further history? Okay. Well, a lot of ships in the 1940s or Second World War were not put to rest, but they used them for other purposes to transport people. So, like you said, Gulf War, stuff like that. Some of these old ships were used to transport people. As you said, too, when I look at it, there wasn't concrete. There was swampland and dirt and little tributaries and stuff. So it was.
So
It
we
wasn't built
want to.
up.
This is as far as I kind of got in this adventure.
Okay.
So I would in Freemasonry.
Well, didn't I say something about cannons when we were talking? And they call this the Cannonball Trail. All right. So, the Freemason Street Church, was that Butte, the Tort Street?
Yeah.
That's down there, and then there is MacArthur Center. Hold on, Freemason Street Reception. I'm just kind of matching some of what and there's a cemetery here somewhere, right?
So
hold
Saint-
on. So there's a Confederate monument. That must have been what I was talking about. Yeah.
well, where's St. Paul's Church? Because that's where the cemetery is. It's not on
St.
there.
Paul's is right
Yeah.
there.
Yep. So yes. So this is where the cemetery is. This is a
Okay.
mall.
So I double checked to see if I'm right a lot.
There's also, that's right around the corner too, the Armed Forces Memorial.
Okay.
On the corner.
So we were on
Here. We were right here.
okay, right there. And I was pointing this way to the cemetery, that way. So
Well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, St. Paul's is a very historic.
Yep.
This is the yellow fever
Yeah. Yep.
respite and
Yep.
cemetery. This Moses Myers house was very significant in history and had a lot of scandal and some hauntedness.
Should look up too. The other thing that was kind of weird was I was picking up on a famous actor, somebody that was from there. So I'll have to look that up, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, the Moses Myers house. So yeah, so this Freemason area was destroyed by the British in the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
And then they rebuilt, and during World War I and World War II, families moved out and the military moved in. So this was all like military and servicemen. And that's when there was a lot of uprising. The buildings were becoming dilapidated. The people were becoming, I think, discouraged, disenchanted, and they tore a lot of buildings down and had to rebuild again.
There just feels like there was something else going on, though, as far as I keep getting this civil rights. When the movement was escalating, probably 1960s, I want to say. You know, um, something in this area was significant about it. So you could always look that up too.
That's interesting.
Either some incident that happened or whether there was just a lot of unrest. Now I know growing up in California when I was younger that it was right when the Watts riots took place in California, in Los Angeles. That was a terrible burning of a part of the city and uprising that was taking place over there. So there was something about this area that kind of reminds me of that. And that would probably be around 1960s, I would think. Because in 65 is when the president enacted civil rights laws. And, but you're in IT, you should know about this stuff. I'm just kidding.
There's a plaque down here.
Yeah, but this isn't historical. This is some architects.
Yeah. See, because this was for sale.
Uh-huh.
What do you know, maybe the building next to it.
I mean, yeah, there's something around here. When I was looking at this direction, I'll just peek over here.
These houses are crazy. You know, I asked Todd if we could do this at night. I don't think he likes to be out. I don't know if he likes to be out at night, but the houses are so different at night.
I'm gonna just look over here real quick.
So, like, I lived in Washington, D.C., and